Talk Kentucky, everybody. So glad to have you joining us. I'm your host and moderator, Sherelle Roberts. We're here with the Let's Talk team. We've got Kim Dixon, and filling in for Lisa, it's Tracy Pierce. Lisa and Susan are on spring break with the kiddos. Ooh. Living their best life.
Probably better weather, too.
Yeah, yes. Tracy, so glad to have you here with us today. So, yesterday, we got to talk about it. Storms, tornadoes, storm damage. It was outrageous. This afternoon, more than 20,000 people, give or take, are still without power. Governor Andy Beshear has issued a state of emergency. He's called in the National Guard to head out to Prospect, Kentucky, and Oldham County. We actually saw some national news crews coming into Prospect, Kentucky to survey the damage. We've had damage in Anderson, Bath, Ballard, Bourbon, Boyd, Clark, Elliott, Fayette, Greenup. I mean, everywhere. Jessamine County got hit really hard. They believe that they had at least an EF2 tornado there. The governor has called out the National Guard, but he's also activated price gouging laws so that folks can't run up the price of goods as people are trying to get wood and tarps and other supplies and food to recover after this storm. I mean, yesterday we knew it was coming, but I don't think we were ready for real.
No, and it happened so much faster for me than I was expecting it to. I mean, we were listening all day, and it's like, oh, here it is. This is gonna happen. And we were lucky that we didn't lose power in my neighborhood, or I didn't. A lot of our neighbors in our neighborhood lost power, and they're gonna be dealing with that for a while.
Yeah.
I was out of power for about 2 hours, and I actually went to my basement, which that really is kind of my last resort. I generally don't. And so I was like, you know what, this one is one I better get in the basement.
Yeah.
So I went in the basement, I watched and you could definitely see that, and it was all around, but it just didn't hit exactly where I was, but in Montgomery County.
So Kim and I were in the newsroom yesterday, and so our newsroom has like these really big windows, and so we were just standing there, we're like, it's getting a little dark, I see a little wind blowing, I think that, the storm's getting ready to come in. It wasn't 2 minutes later, sideways rain, debris flying through the sky.
Now, Sherelle, you have a lot of emergency management experience, and as soon as Sherelle took off, grabbed her purse and took off for the studio, I am right there behind, grabbed my bag, and I am running right behind.
I'm going where she's going.
Yes, as fast as I could go.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
yes.
I don't,
survival instinct.
Yeah, yes. I don't really get nervous much, but when I saw a cow fly by the window, I was like, yeah, we better go. So really, all jokes aside, so many folks are recovering today. So many businesses, some businesses in Lexington had to be condemned because walls kind of came down, food trucks turned over, just so much stuff happening. And it's just a reminder. We talked about it yesterday, just in passing, about storm preps and about, do you have a safety plan? And man, we needed it yesterday. So
Kentucky is primed for tornadoes. I mean, that's just where we are. Not as bad as other parts of the country, but we get them here. No doubt about it.
Yeah. So in times like these, I got to think about it this morning. I said, we need the local charities that are going to help people to recover. And we need to remind ourselves about where we can direct our funds or our time to help people. And so for me, I always think about the Red Cross, right? The Red Cross of Kentucky, and this is their website. They help people with disaster relief, housing, blood donation. And you can, if you can't give, you can volunteer your time with the Red Cross as well. Kim referenced the fact that I have, worked with police, public safety, emergency management, and the Red Cross is always the first one there. Sometimes they get there before public safety, and we're like, how did you even know? How did you know? And they're like, well, we just know. And then not only do they help the folks who are recovering from the disaster, but the Red Cross always cares about the first responders too. They're like, oh, you've been here for 8 hours. Have you eaten? And you're like, I haven't eaten. And they give you, they're just amazing.
I really love
folks.
that. That's a wonderful service that they provide. That's great.
And so I was thinking other things. Habitat for Humanity is probably going to be helping people on the back end. And, we all have our favorite charities. charities, I think. This is the time to think about what your favorite charity might be and consider giving something monetarily or your time, because so many people are going to be recovering.
It's going to take a while.
Yeah. And I feel like, remember those tornadoes we had a couple years ago and the floods we had a couple years? I just feel like it's, do we ever get out of the woods?
Not
so
lately.
to say.
No.
Doesn't seem like lately.
Yeah, so we need to dig deep.
Absolutely.
Yes, we do. Take care of each other.
That's
Our
right.
neighbors,
That's right.
our friends. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's what a community is.
that is.
You know, it is.
It
That's
is.
really what we do for each other. So everybody think about that. Coming up after the break, we're gonna have our countdown conversation. Stay with us. This is gonna be a unique one because of who we have in the paper today. Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk Kentucky. It is time for the Countdown Conversation. This is the part of the show where we discuss as many topics as we can in 6 minutes. Are you guys ready?
Let's
Ready.
go.
All right, let's do it. First up, Team No Kids. Okay, so there are women on the internet who are discussing the fact that they haven't had kids and they're totally okay with it. This one woman said, I don't like people. I don't want to make one. She's like, I don't want to make a people.
You
I
love
don't want to make
truthful
a people.
right? Real honesty right there.
Yeah. This other woman said, all the parents I know are stressed and have no free time. And then another lady said, I don't want to raise a kid alone. She said, I don't want to be a single mother. And so I guess she maybe doesn't want to get married. So yeah, I think, you know, folks have lots of different reasons. And I think as women progress and we have more rights, we can say, I don't want to have kids. So the panel today, we're all team
We've
no
said
kids.
that.
Yes.
We
None
have
of
all
us have
said
any human children.
Yes, and I love people, so it's really not that reason.
You know, so Kim, go first on this one. Team no kids.
I'm fortunate that I have a bonus son,
Yes.
and his name is Eli, and he's a really good kid. But I think we all need to be honest with ourselves. Some people just don't want kids. Some people have become parents that I know of that maybe shouldn't have been parents, you know? I've seen that too. And I thought I wanted kids for the longest time.
Yeah.
But something broke when I turned 40. I was in the grocery store, I was in the Kroger doing my shopping, and this kid, he was big enough to push the cart, but not well. He's maybe 6 or 7 years old, and he looks at me. And he starts shoving that cart, and he's coming right at me. He's coming right, I'm like, I didn't know what to do, so I turned at the last minute, you know, but I thought, that's it. The maternal instinct literally dried up at that
You actually
moment.
felt it.
I could feel it drying up. It was amazing.
Your ovaries were like, no.
If you want to deter people from having children, get a bunch of bad toddlers around.
Just go-
That'll
yeah.
always work. Well, I love children. I absolutely love children. But I focused on my career from a young age. And by the time I was really into and loving my career, I never had that, or whatever that is, that calling, you say. Because I know a lot of women, they just want to have children. I mean, it's actually something that they mean and in their soul are saying, I want children. I never felt that. I felt very satisfied with my life and my relationships. And so when I turned 30, I thought to myself, well, if you're going to, you know, you probably need to go ahead and do that. And I just never really, you know, and I'm fine with it. I mean, so I guess what I will say this is that it wasn't like in my head, like I never want to have children. But it's one of those things where I never really wanted to have children. So I think it's probably best that I didn't have children.
Yeah.
You know. So, and I'm very happy. I've got a ton of nieces and nephews, great nieces and nephews. So I'm very satisfied with my life, and so I didn't feel like I had to have a child to fulfill myself.
Yes, absolutely. I'm with you. I love kids, like love kids, love all my Sunday school children, you know, I love my nieces and nephews, but I cannot imagine taking care of another human. Like, I'm barely taking care of myself. You know, sometimes my
love
friends,
the honesty, don't you?
seriously, my friends and I discuss it, and we're like, we're the new adults. Like, this is us. Like, we're in charge now. This is not good. And so I think about it because I have so many responsibilities, so much volunteer work, so many things I do in the community. And, you know, that's why I can't do it. But I also think if I had kids, I wouldn't be able to serve the community in the way that I am now.
Absolutely.
So it's a trade-off. Now, mind you, I might think about it, but I need to get started, y'all.
I was gonna say, you have time.
I know. I'm 40.
Me, I'm pretty past that time.
Creeping up on 41. I do not want to be 55 at freshman high school game. Like, look at my kid. They're like, oh, your grandma's here. No, that's my mom. Seriously. So that's that. Okay, up next, makeup job. So a woman went to a job interview. She did all the things she should do. She was well prepared. She was well dressed. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. She didn't get the job, and so she just did what some folks did. She called HR to get a little feedback. Hey, why didn't I get the job? And they say, you didn't give enough care to your appearance. And the only thing she could think of is she didn't have on any makeup. So this is interesting, Tracy. A woman not getting a job because she didn't have on makeup.
Yeah, I don't agree with that whatsoever. I have my lipstick on, my little mascara today, and I generally do wear makeup, but that's me. That's just who I am. And I think in some cases when you're in a job interview situation and something like that, a certain wardrobe, I do think is kind of something that you should expect, a business attire if it's a business type job. But makeup should not be part of that.
Kim.
This isn't a thing for men. You're not going to hear that from some guy because he's not wearing enough makeup.
Right, exactly.
But maybe this was a good thing for her because she's working. She has all the qualifications, but she wasn't hired. What's that going to mean like at this company? What is that going to be like? Are they going to be judging her on things that really have nothing to do with her job?
Non-important.
Yeah,
that's really true.
This is awkward.
So when I'm not on the air, I go without makeup like as soon as I get home, I'm like it just take it all off because it's a lot. And because I don't absolutely have to. So when I was at other jobs, if it's not a TV job, I don't wear makeup most of the time. I'm like, this is my actual face. Please learn to enjoy it. So I think I would have a hard time working for an employer where they were like, you have to have on a full face of makeup. Because it might not even be healthy.
It's not. It's not.
Yeah. So, well, listen, we had the Chatty Cathy's on today. We almost didn't make it anywhere today. But that's the Countdown Congo. All right, everybody stay with us. Coming up after the break, our guest is going to talk about Honor Flight Kentucky. So excited. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk Kentucky. We're here with the Let's Talk team. We've got our good buddy who we love when she fills in with us, Tracy Pierce.
Yeah, thank you.
Kim Dixon, me, of course. And then joining us at the table is Kelly Parmley from Honor Flight Kentucky. Welcome to the table.
Thank you for having me.
We are so glad to have you here. Honor Flight Kentucky does some amazing work with veterans. So for folks who may not be familiar, tell us a little bit about the organization.
So Honor Flight Kentucky is a subsidiary of Honor Flight National Network. There are 127 Honor Flight hubs around the United States. There are 2 in Kentucky. One of them is based out of Lexington, Honor Flight Kentucky, and our mission is to take veterans from World War II, Korea, and the Vietnam era to Washington, D.C. and back in one day to visit all the war memorials that were dedicated to their service, and then to bring them back home to Bluegrass Airport in the evening and give them a welcome home that so many of them, especially ones from Vietnam, did not get.
Oh, that gave me chill. We just had the picture of one of the veterans at the wall, like being able to make the sketch, and that's, whew, it really does give me a chill. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's a life-changing day for a lot of them.
Yeah.
Sorry there, a little touched by that, something I hadn't thought about. Tell us a little more about your upcoming flight in May.
Okay, we have a flight leaving out of Lexington on May 18th out of Bluegrass Airport, and we have 62 veterans manifested for that flight, one from World War II. We're really excited about that. That's hard to find these days. We have about a dozen from the Korean conflict, and the rest of them are from Vietnam. We do have one female veteran on the flight, so we're really excited to welcome her as well. But we're going to be leaving Bluegrass Airport at about 7 a.m. in the morning on May 18th, so people are welcome to come send us off, and then we'll get back about 9 o'clock that night. And we expect to have several hundred people at the airport to welcome us home that evening.
What a day.
Goodness,
That
my
is great.
goodness.
You know, the mail call where people write the letters to the veterans, don't know who they are, but just to tell them how much they appreciate their service. How can viewers support the mail call and welcome home celebration that's coming up?
We would love for anyone to send letters, pictures that children color, anything like that, of thanks to these veterans. And it can be mailed to us, and we will get them to the veterans on the flight. It can be mailed to Honor Flight Kentucky at P.O. Box 25025, Lexington, Kentucky 40524. Sorry.
So tell us, how impactful is Honor Flight to both our veterans and to the volunteers that you work with?
I think so many veterans that we've taken on the flight, we've heard from them after the fact. We've heard from their children. We've heard that it was the best day of their life. And many of them talked about it up until the day that they passed. We've heard from several people that it was so special to them. And I think the same is true of volunteers. I think once you volunteer for Honor Flight, you're hooked. I know the very first time I volunteered with them, I was just like, this is my people. This is where I need to be. It just pulled at my heart, and it just has a really special place in my heart and the heart of everyone that volunteers for them.
So I had no idea that you all do this turnaround in one day.
It is one day.
Yeah, I'd heard about the Honor Flight and I'd seen the photos, but one day. So talk me through the logistics, like what does the day look like? This is because I've never heard anybody talk about
know
this.
either.
Yeah, talk us through what the day looks like.
The logistics are a lot.
Yeah.
We have a send-off ceremony at Bluegrass Airport in the morning, and then we board an airplane and arrive in Washington, D.C. It's about an hour flight. When they land in Washington, we're usually greeted at the airport by the West Point Glee Club, singing to all of them, and crowds gather at the airport in Washington, D.C. at every terminal where an Honor Flight lands. They kind of announce that. There'll be a big crowd of people to welcome them there. We'll hop on some buses and we'll go to the Pentagon and the Iwo Jima. We'll watch the changing of the guard and oftentimes be able to lay a wreath at Arlington Cemetery. We'll go to the World War II Memorial, the Memorial to Korea, and then we usually end the day at the Vietnam Wall. Since so many of our veterans are from there, we'll head back to the airport in Washington, and then we'll do mail calls. So we'll get to hand out all those letters and cards and pictures to them, and they'll get to enjoy those while we're waiting to board the flight back to Lexington. And when we arrive there, hopefully we'll have several hundred people there to kind of form a gauntlet and welcome them home. The welcome home is amazing.
And
I've not
every
been to one.
veteran has someone with them all day.
Yes.
Now, even if they're not in a wheelchair or anything like that, just they have their own person with them, so they don't have to worry about anything.
They do. We call them guardians. A lot of veterans have a child or niece or nephew or a friend that comes as a guardian. While veterans fly for free, guardians do pay a fee to go with us. And for those veterans that don't have a guardian, we will find one for them.
Oh my goodness.
And so a lot
Makes
of
it very
people,
easy
the chance to be a guardian it's pretty cool.
What an honor.
It's so touching. You could just feel kind of the love. Just even just hearing you talk about it, the love that you all put into this, and really the honor. It makes sense you call it Honor Flight because you're really showing these people that your service matters. So often after conflicts are over, some folks either get forgotten about or time goes by and the way we view the conflict that they served in may change sometimes. So, you guys are doing really good work. Really, really quickly for folks who maybe want to learn more about Honor Flights or to volunteer, where can they go? Do y'all have a website?
We do, honorflightky.org. You can sign up to be a guardian on that website and find out about ways to
we may have
support us
found
with
you
mail.
out.
Yeah.
I
know.
I'm such a nerd. I love DC and I love the museums and everything like that.
Yeah, she's
so
great.
that could be really cool. Kelly,
We'd love to have
thank you for sharing this with us and thanks for walking us through the logistics because I'm not sure people really knew about that. So we really appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me. I
Oh my
appreciate it.
gosh, thank you. Oh, that's gonna give me a smile on my
Yes.
face for the rest of the day.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody, stay with us. Coming up after the break, Tracy is gonna tell us what's going on in Mount Sterling.
I want to
at that.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk Kentucky. Tracy likes the view.
I like it.
So we thought it would be nice for Tracy to highlight some of the things that are going on in Mount Sterling because you're the tourism director of Mount Sterling.
I am.
And so tell us about this thing that y'all have coming up.
Well, thank you so much for giving me a second to talk about my lovely place, my lovely
Yes.
town, lovely events too. We have the second annual Nancy Green Pancake Queen Spring Festival. For those who do not know who Nancy Green is, she was the original Aunt Jemima, born in Montgomery County. Now, the story about Nancy Green is Nancy Green, not Aunt Jemima. Now, she was the first living trademark, and I don't know how many thousands and thousands, but there's numbers, but she sold more pancake mix than really it took off at all the state fairs and that
Really?
around. But she was, you know, when you thought of pancakes, you thought of Aunt Jemima, right?
Huh.
So the thing about it is her life though and legacy was so much more. So she was the first living trademark, born in slavery. She ended up being a very successful businesswoman. I mean, she took, this was her job, her career. She took her career and uplifted so many people in so many different communities. She was very strong in her church. She was a philanthropist. I mean, she a very smart, charismatic woman. And so she came from, you know, not a great situation and ended up building an absolutely wonderful life. And we are so proud of her in Montgomery
Yes.
County, and we want to celebrate her. So Saturday, April the 20th, we are having a festival in her honor. We've already have a historical marker that was unveiled during October Court Day. So we hope people will come 10 to 4 p.m. downtown Mount Sterling in the Courthouse Square.
All right. Well, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for sharing with us. And everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow.